Hello there. Welcome to another talk, another meditation. I always say meditation because all my talks become meditations. And today's talk is called Narcissism is Essential for Personal Growth. Now, if you go on my website regularly, you would have noticed that I've got a page on narcissism. And on that page, for a few years now, I've been speaking about the inner narcissist. And we all have it. Because narcissism is society itself, and we are all a collective consciousness. Because we're all a collective consciousness, we are all interacting with each other, and we are basically all each other. And so there's no getting away from the fact that we all have narcissism within us. And, narcissism / ego. But if you take away this ego narcissistic element, and you didn't have it, let's say, then there'll be no need anymore, you wouldn't have a drive, or the drive would be gone. And you need a bit of drive. If you get people with no motivation, they become depressed, useless. So you need to have that pride element. But there's levels. If your narcissism is you're so insecure that you're bringing other people down, you're doing a smear campaign because you're so insecure, this person makes you feel so insecure, that's a dangerous level of narcissism. If your narcissism is only a small level, then you're not causing anyone any harm, and that's God's law. That's what you're here to do, is to cause no harm. Cause no harm. That's it. Grow and do your life, but don't cause any harm. But narcissism, small amounts, and narcissism in general, in small amounts, is absolutely essential. If you think of all the great people, that have become very well known, there must have been some drive there to get themselves there. They've got to be motivated. Like when I get up in the morning at 4 a.m, there's got to be some driver there pushing me to get up at that time, and to have a structured system where everything is in place, and there's got to be an ego there to do all that, or else you wouldn't care. And that's how that is how you get people that are going around are all depressed. What's wrong with them is they don't have enough narcissism. They don't have a big enough ego, and so they're useless. And so it's all about understanding. You need to have some level of ego and some level of that. But like I say, it's about levels. Monitor yourself, pay attention to yourself. Is your narcissism, ego, is it so insecure if it's hurting others for its own selfish gains? If it's that kind of level, then you have to work on yourself. And if you're out there and you're bringing other narcissists down, then that's your own shadow. That's your inner narcissism. And somewhere in there is insecurities, and because you're bringing someone else down. And that's how you can really see within your own narcissistic shadow, and you can see where you need to heal. But a lot of people don't do this, especially on the internet. and they don't see that all they are doing is projecting their own shadow, and not seeing that that's where the narcissist lives. That's the real narcissist. Yes, there is external narcissists out there, but if you're getting triggered, then that's your unconscious narcissist within you. That's what that is. If you're getting triggered by these people, use the triggers. The triggers are red flags telling you that you need to heal. That's what they are. When you get these triggers, and you might say, oh, it's the narcissist doing it. Yeah, they may be doing it, but they can't do nothing to you if you're ascended and healed enough. If you're really that ascended, then they won't touch you. They can't do anything to you. So pay attention more to the inner narcissist, and also know that you need a little bit of narcissism. It's not about getting rid of the ego, because then if you totally got rid of the narcissist within and the ego within, like I say, you'd be like one of these depressed people that has got no drive. Things would, your life would just be very boring. So there has to be an element of ego, and there has to be a little element of narcissism thrown in the pot. It's a very important ingredient to have that drive. But pay attention, if it's manipulating others, pay attention. Is there insecurities there? Is there self-doubts there? And pay attention to that, and if there is, that's where you need to heal. Pay attention to your reactions to things. If you're on social media through your day, pay attention to your reactions if they're negative, even if it's bringing the narcissist down, because in that moment when you're bringing the narcissist down, that is called narcissistic scapegoating. You're talking to others and bringing the narcissist down. This is called narcissistic scapegoating, and you're doing that if you're bringing narcissistic people down on like social media, or in life. If you're doing that, you're participating in narcissistic scapegoating. You're demonizing that person to lift yourself up, and that's very narcissistic. Another element of narcissism, it's alarming because you see this in psychiatrists sometimes, is bringing people down. And it's an unconscious effort to bring ourselves up. So pay attention to that. Also, if things make people feel insecure, they will normally bring that person down. An example of this is people will bring down people who, they might be sex workers, or they might be more sexually open people, and they will bring them down on their back, and they're doing this. John Lennon once got a poster made, and it said, don't criticize what you don't understand. But people criticize not just what they don't understand, but what makes them feel insecure. So because we live in a society where a lot of people aren't developed sexually, really, when someone is developed sexually, they will get insecure, and that's why they're bringing that, i.e. sex worker down, or a person that's more sexually developed, you could say. Someone might have had a Kundalini spiritual awakening, and they might have like all their tantric energies are like awakened, and that can make, or if you're developed sexually in general, that can make people feel insecure, and they will use things, oh, they're a narcissist, but you're acting narcissistic. If you're bringing them down, you're doing that to build yourself up. So pay attention to this. That's the kind of narcissism that can hurt you in the long run. But don't get rid of the narcissism entirely, but you want to turn the volume down on the part where it's having these negative reactions, because ultimately it's going to cause you pain in the future, because the truth always comes out in the end, and it'll hit you like a lorry, like a packed lorry, if you don't acknowledge what you're doing. And this is really what spiritual awakening is. And that's why you eventually reach Kundalini and tantric awareness, because that's in the core of your being. But unconsciously, most people will lie to themselves. They're always lying to themselves. And the spiritual awakening only happens when you start being absolutely honest and authentic. Authentic, people tell the truth, but authentic is really living from the heart chakra. And when you're living from that space, you can't lie. Heart-based living, that's what it is. And so I had an unexpected spiritual awakening 10 years ago, and I get new spiritual awakenings every other day. And there is people out there that go to Brazil and they take ayahuasca, and it can induce these kind of spiritual awakenings. And I'm not judging people that do that, but I get it without the drug. And I had it because at the age of 24, 10 years ago, I'm 34 now, but at the age of 24, I sat down one morning and I had enough. And I had it. I just knew in that moment that I had it so much that everything was going to change. And I'm not religious, but Christians say that when you take the first step, God leads you the rest of the way. And that's how my journey's been. But I'm not saying doing these talks to trigger anyone. I'm doing these talks because it's very, very important that people understand. Topics like, a lot of people won't say that narcissism is essential for personal growth. This is a talk that I had to do because I see it all the time and people are blind to it. It's like this constant demonization of narcissists. Yes, I do think there's bad people out there, that is true. But they're blind, and that's why so many people may feel and do feel that they're not having a spiritual awakening. I watch Eckhart Tolle's talks on the internet and listen to them. And so many people there, they travel him everywhere to his shows. And they're very wealthy financially, but they don't get that awakening. And that's because they haven't done what I done when I was 24, when I really had it. It's like you've got to have nothing left to lose, that kind of moment. And then you start to be heart-based, and then you start to see your own inner narcissism. And you will actually see that your reactions to things all the time is your own inner narcissist. And if you start to pay attention to this is the pathway to ascension. And then when you, underneath all that, as you heal and ascend, you get to the core of your being, which is tantric awareness, Kundalini energy. The core of your being is sex itself. Your core essence is not just hypersexual, but there's peace there. There's calmness, there's euphoria. There's oneness there. This is God's love. This is the core essence of life. It's not just sexual. There's peace also there. So like all the love elements are there. And you do this, you have to have that moment like I did, and just have enough of lying to yourself. And then, like I did, once I'd done that, the rest is history. The kingdom of God is within, apparently what Jesus said. They would say, where's this God? And Jesus Christ would say, it's within you. But I'm just going to leave it there. For latest updates, talks, news, research and songs, please do visit my website at www.lovelightfamily.com. Thank you.